Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name's Danielle
And I'm Stephanie.
and together we clean homes for free.
Yay, well done. We thought we'd just try it with Danielle doing the intro today. So in this house is a solo clean with just myself, because this was an extra house that we did, and it was for a dad whose wife and kids are away for a few weeks, and he is very overwhelmed. He has ASD, which I'm actually not even 100% sure what that
I
is.
don't know what that is either.
I think it's something to do with being on the autistic spectrum, but
Okay.
correct me if I'm being ignorant there. And I'm not sure if it's his own mother or if it's his wife's mother, is a hoarder, and they've been spending the last few months sorting out her house, and as a result, their house has just gotten completely on top of them. And as well, he works two jobs, and I think he actually works as a cleaner in those jobs. And it's kind of like when a chef cooks all day and then comes home and doesn't want to cook. He cleans all day and then comes home and doesn't want to clean.
Yeah.
And then it's just gotten to a point it's completely overwhelmed. He has hired a skip, it's outside. And so he's started going through everything. And as well, he was getting windows fitted, and the window fitters turned up and said, "We can't do this. There is too much stuff in the way of the windows." So that's why in this kitchen, all the stuff is piled up on the bunkers or the worktops and out of the way of the window. And then as well, when I move to the upstairs, again, you'll see that I'm basically just moving everything away from the window. So yeah.
Along with yourselves, this is the first time I'm getting to view this footage. So together we will watch it for the first time.
You can ask me questions and critique my methods.
I quite like your scrubbing motion of the windowsill. Was there a lot of dirt?
Yeah, there was a build up. So in this whole kitchen, I went over it with a scrub mummy, and I am just using the Dettol cleaner because that was all I had, but my husband came like halfway through the clean with some elbow grease and Fairy Up liquid, because I realised that you actually had half you had half the cleaning products in your car. So I was using the wrong cleaning product here, but it did the job. I mean, the scrubbing and the water probably was enough. But anyway, so throughout this whole kitchen, I use the scrub mummy and the cleaning product, and then I go over it with a yellow damp microfiber cloth, and then I actually go over it with an orange dry microfiber cloth. But when I was editing the footage, I took out the parts with the yellow microfiber cloth because I didn't think people would want to see me going over the same thing 3 times, and it just meant that I could slow down the cleaning while still keeping the video kind of an okay length. So sorry, I keep tilting the phone away from you so that the speaker is closer. Oh, I hated this sink so much because it's blocked, and I tried using the drain unblocker thing, so the water wasn't draining properly. But the worst part about this sink was the taps. Like, it was a nightmare turning those taps on and off, especially the hot tap. It just kind of kept spurting at me. And I think at some point there was a leak under the sink as well, because you see me organising under there later on, because I found so many cleaning products, like so many. They didn't even all fit under there.
What took you the longest in this house?
So I spent most of the time on the kitchen. Like, this isn't really a deep clean either. The main goal in this house was to help the man feel not overwhelmed, because that was the biggest issue. So he had been, because the whole house was bad, but I just managed to get a few areas done. But my priority is always the kitchen. So he never, when I asked for his priority areas, he was like, everything. Because he was so overwhelmed, he couldn't even like point me in a direction. So I was like, okay, well, when I walked into the house, the kitchen was what overwhelmed me the most. So I thought I'll just start with that. He was sorting out like probably the whole wardrobes in the living room, like all the clothes and stuff had been washed, and then I did find a lot more clothes though. So he was doing that, but that wasn't something that I could do because there was there's 3 children that live in this house, and then 1 bonus child that comes like every second weekend or whatever the arrangement is. So 4 children and 2 adults worth of clothes. I didn't know where to, like, how to sort that into whose is who. So I just did the kitchen. And then, so the main goal was I was basically moving things, cleaning the areas, and then I put them back into categories. And you'll see me moving things around more than once. So, like, I clean off this area, which is obviously in front of the window, and then I start putting things from other bunkers onto this area, but it can't stay there because then he can't get his windows fitted, so then I have to move it again.
Worktops.
Worktops. Well, I think by now they all know that bunkers means worktops. Oh yeah, this air fryer was really greasy as well.
Yeah.
Like, see how you said in the last house the air fryer was greasy? I've no idea how they get so greasy. You're not using any grease to cook. I suppose it comes out the food though.
Yeah. It must just be one of those things that you really need to keep on top of. Just clean every so often.
I mean, the drawer of mine, I clean after every use. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but yeah.
I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah. And then mine just gets really dusty. Because everything in my house is like black, all the appliances and everything.
You'll see all the dust and dirt on it a lot easier.
Yeah.
What was the most satisfying part about this clean for you?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I don't know. I just like, because I was in it, I didn't really see the difference until I'd finished and looked at the photos. And then see, when I seen the photos at the end, I was like, that is quite a big difference. Because so they had gone out for the day, the dad and the bonus daughter, and when they got back, he then started cleaning out the garage outside. But when he came in, I was like, I had finished the kitchen and I'd finished the upstairs landing, and I was starting on the boys' bedroom, and I had said, actually, I think he said to me, he was like, "Oh, you've done so much already." And again, I didn't think I had, because I'd been in it, and I was just like, oh, I thought I was working quite slowly, to be honest. But it obviously, it made a difference to him straight away. Just walking in, and he could see it. And then I was aiming to do the girls' bedroom, because that, like, when I walked upstairs, out of the 2 rooms, I thought that one looked the worst. Like, that was the most, like, cluttered. But so they had carpet in the room, and the carpet kind of wasn't lying flat properly. And you know what I'm like when I like the visual thing, so it was easier for me to walk into the boys' room and look at it and be like, okay, I can sweep these floors and I'll see the difference. Whereas in the girls' room, I feel like if I'd started there, I would have managed it fine. But by this point, I'd done that kitchen for like 3 hours, and maybe even longer, actually. And then when I went upstairs, I was like, okay, I'm just not ready to face that room. But he was getting more help in. So obviously I could only do what I could on that day. But I mean, I was there all day. I was there from, I think, 10:30, 11 o'clock until about 5, 4:30. And then I was like, okay, I'm starving. I need to go and get my dinner. I did stop for lunch though.
I feel with all the cleans though, when you're in it and you're not seeing the progress very quick from like start to finish, like our viewers will, it is hard to see how much progress you have made. Like, a lot of times we've been like, I don't feel like we've done enough. But then when we look at the before and after, we're like, oh wow, what a difference.
Yeah.
But while you're in it, doing it, and do you know what I mean? It's not like you're watching it or anything. It's almost like you don't see how much you've done or the progress that's been made. And we always feel like we've been here for ages and we've not done loads.
Yeah. But then I think as well, it's just a case of like underestimating how long something will take.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like if I was deep cleaning, I could have spent longer in this kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I never sorted through the drawers and the cupboards because it would have taken more than a full day.
Yeah.
And I was just aiming to do the things that were visual so that he would be less overwhelmed.
I also feel like the invisible cleaning, that's what I call it in my house. Like the sorting out inside of drawers or like cleaning surfaces you don't really see. It takes a lot longer than the visual cleaning.
Yeah.
Do you mean like cleaning mess on a worktop, or it takes a lot longer to declutter a drawer or...
Yeah. But then on the flip side of that, the jobs that you think are going to take a long time sometimes actually take like 5 minutes. Like you put off doing that junk drawer for months, and then you sit down to do it and it actually only takes you 15 minutes.
I cleared out my 2 junk drawers today.
Oh, how did that go?
And yeah, it took me 15 minutes, and I've got a whole empty drawer there that I'm like, oh, what can I put in this now? Because there was so much stuff that I chucked away.
That's the thing, you empty a space and then just
fill it back up.
Yeah, you just want to fill it back up.
Yeah.
Like I have that unit in my kitchen with the 25 cubes, and realistically, I could probably empty like at least 7 of them.
But then what?
Then I would fill it up again. That's the problem. And I actually tried to downgrade to a smaller one because originally I had a 4x4 cube, and I upgraded to the 5x5, and I gave my other friend the 4x4 one. And then recently I was like, okay, I don't need that, and it would take up less space, and I wouldn't fill it up with as much rubbish if I just got rid of it and got the 4x4. So I said to my friend, I was like, oh, would you like to swap for the bigger version and I'll get that one back? And she was like, no, because then I'll just fill it with stuff. And I was like, I know, that's why I want rid of it.
The more space you have, or the more storage you have, the more opportunity there is to be disorganised and cluttered.
Yeah, well, that's what we had a few comments about that last week. So see how we were talking about, oh, we'd love to have one of the really big American style houses.
Yeah, I actually seen a few of those comments.
There was a few comments like, well, the bigger the house, the more there is to clean, and truer words have never been spoken. Because I went from a 2-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom house, and yeah, there's so much stuff. I really need to do a big declutter.
There is something... what's the right word here? That appealing about living a minimalistic lifestyle with just like 5 outfits, only the amount of plates and cups you need, and that kind of very minimalistic, non-cluttered. Not like, I have so much stuff in my house that I'm like, I've not used it. I've not looked at that in a year, but I still keep it just in case.
Yeah.
One day I might need it.
I have like 2 boxes filled with stuff. I don't even know what it is. It's like electrical wires for things. I don't know what they are. I don't know where they've come from. I'm like, but I'm pretty sure I don't know where I heard this from, but I'm sure I heard that there's an app that you can take a photo of all these wires and it tells you what they are. And if that doesn't exist, somebody make it and we'll be partners. Because if it's not a thing, it should be. Because the number of times I've gone through the electric drawer to find something that I need, and I'm like, what is this even for? Like, adapters for things I don't even think I own, but I can't throw them out because what if it's actually really important? But then I'm like, well, we've been in this house 3 years now. Don't think it's ever needed to be used, but you just know a second you throw something out, you're going to need it.
Use it. I have loads of what are they? Are they SCART cables? Is that what they're called? You connect like old DVD players.
But we don't even have anything like that now.
Yeah, I've still got 4 of them, and I've still kept them. Or like the telephone wires, and I don't even have a telephone. Like I don't have a house phone.
Is that the Ethernet cable? Is that
what they're called?
Because you can use. Is that the one? Because I think you can use it to connect your phone or your internet to like direct, like the cable directly from the internet router. Is that how you say it? Router? I don't know.
One of those.
And connect that to the TV. I think it's the same wire.
Right. Well, I have no idea, but
we need to find the name of this app
them as well. Yeah, definitely need that app because I've got a full bag and a big box of wires
Yeah.
Half of which I probably do not need.
Or if there's like loads, if we have lots of like subscribers that are tech savvy, we could just do a live and hold up the wires and you can tell us what they are. Like, do we need to keep this? What is this for?
I have loads of charger cables for my phone as well, and I know half of them probably don't work. That's why they're in that box. But I've just never got around to like sitting down and being like, right, plug all these chargers in, see which ones work, which ones don't. Probably should do that as well. I've got chargers for old phones that are broken that are in my drawer as well. I've got about 7 broken phones that I keep in a drawer because
I have a couple as well.
I could get the screen fixed and I could take the photos off it. I mean, ones I've had for about 9 years. Yeah. And I've never got round to actually doing it.
I still have a Galaxy S3 in my drawer, and is it not now the S23?
Yeah, something.
Does that mean it's 20 years? No, it can't be 20 years later. How often do they bring out Samsung phones?
I don't know. And are they like, is it in order? Because I know like iPhones don't go from...
Oh no, because they did not go from like 10 to 20 actually. I don't think there's an 11 or a 12. Yeah, it must have gone from 10 to 20. Anyway, I have the third one, which I think might have been my first Samsung actually.
But we're going to still have them in 20 years' time, and our grandkids will be like, oh, what's that old piece of machinery?
Do you know what I wish I still had actually? Was the Nokia 3310. Do you remember that phone?
I have one of them.
Do you? Well, can I have it?
Not that long ago. It's like I've got a pink one. And
I wanted it for Arthur. I don't think he'd appreciate pink.
The screen's cracked as well because I put my high heel through it, but...
I was going to say, how do you break a Nokia 3310?
It still worked after that as well. It still worked. The screen, like my high heel went through this screen. The screen is cracked, but it still worked.
I chopped mine in the toilet when I was young and it still worked. Yeah, those things were indestructible.
Jinx.
Touch wood.
They don't make phones like that. But I think now they make things to break. So then when they break, you have to spend more money. It's that like consumer wheel of spending. They make things to break.
Yeah.
So they know that people are going to come back. If they made things that lasted your lifetime, people would only buy it once and they'd never come back. So they'd go out of business.
That's actually why things like furniture cost more, or like bespoke furniture and stuff, because they're made to last. So they have a higher price tag because you're not going to be repeating the purchase compared to like, I don't know, like Primark clothing that you're going to need to like keep buying, for example. Yeah. Anyway, what's going on in this video? We always just like look at each other while we talk and not even watch what's going on. You've missed all my excellent cleaning.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
So yeah, this bag was like, do you know when the kids finish school and they get given like the little like bag of like the photograph of the class and the little poem and all that kind of stuff? That was in that bag. And then, so I had put the dishes next to the sink and then I do wash them, but I didn't record it. Yeah, I think this actually might have been the most satisfying thing I did was under here. That was the sugar soap. That was a very quick glimpse. I was showing people. I found some after we were just talking about it. Here's some sugar soap. Anyway, so then, yeah, that big yellow sponge, I used that to mop up all the water. And I had to throw out most of those towels that were under there because they were all rotten and mouldy. And yeah, everything was wet and icky. I wasn't wearing gloves that day. My hands were really bad. And I was like, it was hot that day as well. It was so hot again. And the sweat, I was just...
But at least the house you were in wasn't...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It was just... The house wasn't really, really dirty or anything. There was just so much stuff that was getting organised. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was nice to have a house where I could just sort things out and organise and make things look more visually appealing. Because that's what I like to do. So yeah, but I cleaned it all out.
Was this the only cupboard you done in the kitchen?
Yeah, and the reason was because there was just so many cleaning products on the bunkers that I was like, right, well, I'm sure I can put them away under the sink. I don't know if that's where everybody else stores their cleaning products, well, in the UK anyway. but that's where I've always stored them, is the cupboard under the sink, because you don't really want to put dishes or food under there.
Yeah.
So it makes the most
most
sense.
people do. That is generally where most people store their cleaning products. Or, I mean, I've got all different stuff under. I've got plant pots and everything under my kitchen sink. Yeah.
That's so random.
Yeah. I've got a lot of random stuff under my kitchen sink.
This house, I don't know if you ever see it on camera, but see on the left-hand side of that washing machine, they had like, do you know how sometimes you just have those awkward like spaces that like are a hand width apart between cupboards? So there was that kind of gap, and a lot of people might use it for storing like carrier bags or, I don't know, wine bottles, but they had like a pull-out trolley that had all their washing stuff on it, like say for washing clothes.
You can get like pull-out trolleys for like spices. They're almost like spice racks that you pull in. I really want one of them. Well, I've got almost like between my cupboards and my fridge, there is a big gap there, and it always just gets loads of like.
I've seen fold-out ironing boards in those gaps as well. A fold-out ironing board.
Yeah, well, my worktop, it goes over and it touches my fridge, so it's just like under the worktop between the cupboard and the fridge below it. There's like that. Gap, does that make sense?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, put a spice rack there.
Yeah, something that's a small pull-out thing.
But yeah, I crammed as much as I could in here, and I figured, well, at least everything's in one space. Like, they can always take it out if they don't want it in there, but at least they'll know where to find it, and it clears the surfaces. You can tell that they had problems with the plumbing because there was a plunger under the sink.
I think a plunger is one of those household tools that everybody should have, though, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it earlier on in the video. I didn't, before I knew there was a plunger and the sink was blocked, I was using my hand as a suction. Yeah. And then I used that drain cleaner. I've never actually used that before. Somebody must have in my house, probably my husband, because it was open already, but yeah, so I just poured some of that in and then waited 10 minutes and then poured hot water in. But it helped a little bit, but not a lot. So the angle for the phone here, it's not close up to me because it's actually on charge. I remembered a charger this time, which was a good job because the battery was going down so quickly. Like, I was probably only, I don't even know how long into this clean, maybe an hour and a half. Or maybe 2 hours, I don't know. My phone was at 30% and it started at 100, so it was draining fast.
It's quite a big kitchen as well.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like a kitchen diner. They have a dining table there, but what you'll see me do later is, because they're currently just using it as storage, and they've got their chairs on their benches actually on the table, but they're upside down. So because I was planning on putting the categories of belongings back there, I actually turn the benches round the other way so that the feet are on the table, which isn't very high, but they're not eating off the table, so I thought it'll be fine. And then I just stack stuff on top of it. And then this was all clean washing that was on the benches, bunkers. My brother from England is currently staying with me, so my vocabulary is all messed up right now. I'm like, am I talking Scottish, English, American? I don't even know.
A mixture of it all.
There was quite a lot of appliances on this bunker as well. That stresses me out. I like to have as clear bunkers as possible. But in my own house, I have the kettle, a fruit basket, a coffee machine, a slow cooker, and an air fryer, all on the bunker. The only thing that I religiously put away is the toaster, because just having that out is annoying. It takes up too much space.
I know a lot of people that put their toaster away. But it's not something I do. If anything, I put my slow cooker away. But I've only got my toaster, my kettle, my slow cooker, and my microwave. If
I had somewhere to put the slow cooker, I would put it away. Because I got that pantry made, but it's not very functional. There's like nowhere to store things. Apart from food. But at least all my food is in one place. So yeah, I was just carrying out the piles of washing there and putting them with all the piles that he'd made in the living room.
Was he back at this point, or was he still out his door?
I don't actually know what time he came back. I'm pretty sure he did come back while I was still doing the kitchen, but he never actually came in the house. They were clearing out the garage.
Outside,
yeah. Because the daughter came in and I was like, oh, I wonder why she's come in herself. I didn't realise he was out doing the garage until later on when he came in and spoke to me. But I don't know if there was some sort of... So obviously I said previously that the mum of one of the parents was a hoarder, and I don't know if that's genetic or like if you can pick up traits from that, because I noticed there were so many things in this house like that were brand new. Like one of the, well, I think two of the bags that I fill are of things that have been bought that haven't been opened. And then like, see those what are those cups called? Stanley cups.
Stanley cups, yeah.
They're brand new as well. And there was just...
There could be like a impulse spending.
Yeah, and then obviously the number of cleaning products. Like, so that cleaning rack that had the washing machine stuff, there was like 5 or 6 bottles of... What are those little beads that people put in their washing machines?
The Unstoppables.
Yes, there was like 5 or 6 bottles of Unstoppables unopened. So yeah, so I don't know if... It could just be because they have a lot of stuff, they don't know what they have, and so they buy more, but I don't know.
I do think though, like with hoarding disorders, or like just generally, the way your parents live or how you were brought up has a massive influence on how you keep your own home, or but then there's also cases where it's like if you're brought up one way, you go the complete opposite. But I do think things monkey see, monkey do kind of thing.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Do you mean if you're brought up in an environment where it's almost like hoarding's acceptable, which it's not that it's not acceptable,
it's just what you're used to.
What you're used to, then you're not going to think any different of it.
Oh, there's a bit coming up that I do a close up. So when I move this microwave, I kind of clean under it. So we'll not talk during that bit. Here we go. We stopped doing the voice recording to listen to those cleaning sounds, and then just started having a conversation ourselves and forgot to press record. So
We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
I quite like the cleaning sounds.
Yeah, we were just saying that I don't.
Steph has a thing about like noisy, especially there's a place that we go to eat that's really, really good food. But the knife and fork sometimes makes a noise on the plates.
It's like chalk on a blackboard or nails. No, nails on a blackboard. That's the saying.
And Steph doesn't like it so much. She had to actually consider if she kept going back to this place to have food.
I know. It's my favorite cafe as well. They just need to change their plates. I think I'm got 2 minutes left in this kitchen, so I'm just kind of sweeping the floors. I don't clean the floors. I just swept them. They weren't even. I mean, they were covered in crumbs, but they weren't really dirty. But like I said, there's so much more I could have actually cleaned in this, even like the cupboard fronts and stuff, but I just did as much as I could, and then I was like, I don't want to just spend all my time in the kitchen because I did just want to make as much of an impact as I could. And so I moved upstairs after this.
With doing it on your own, like I noticed when I was doing mine as well, I feel like when we do it together, obviously because there's two people doing it, you feel like you're moving on to things much faster. Whereas when you're on your own, you're like, oh, we could have been finished this bit by now, or they could have been doing this, and then I find it a lot better doing it with someone.
Yeah.
It's easier to get through more stuff, like obviously because we have a lot of people to get through and a lot of people that we want to help. And just doing one clean a week, it really restricts us to sort of giving people more than one day. So we really need to try and get in as much cleaning or as much organising for that person as possible. So when we're doing it together, we really know that we are getting a lot done. Whereas doing it on yourself, it's almost like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to
get the same amount done.
Yeah.
As well, like when you start running out of steam, I didn't have you there to be like, come on, we can do this. So
the second wind.
Yeah. Although I was quite good at taking breaks this time. So I took a break. So I brought pack lunch with me but I don't really like eating a big meal in the middle of the day. So I kind of broke it up into little bits. So stopped and had a sandwich, or stopped and had some grapes, or stopped and had my chocolate bar, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I've moved on to the upper landing now. And I was wondering, so with the before and after photos, because I was actually considering after I finished that kitchen to put the before and after photos of the kitchen and then move on to the landing and then do the before and after photos for that. And the reason I didn't is because I thought if I did that, maybe people wouldn't then watch till the end. But I don't know if people would prefer that, because maybe by the time you get to the end of the video, you've kind of forgotten what was done in the kitchen or what it looked like. I don't know.
So doing the before and after section by section.
Yeah, because I did that with the sink, but that was actually because I didn't take photos of the sink. I just kind of held the camera really still when recording to see if that would work. But you can let us know in the comments if you have a preference. And I know as well, so you've seen that I did that poll earlier to find out if people wanted to see like this one long 50-minute video or the two shorter videos, because I was torn, because for me the kitchen was obviously the most satisfying transformation, so that would have probably been a really good 30-minute video on its own. But then I wasn't sure if like the upper landing in the bedroom would be a very good video on its own. But then I was like, well, I'll just see what they all want. But it was it wasn't even, our audience was split pretty closely, because it was 60-40 for the long video. But I think if I can get the footage from your clean last week sorted, then I think that'll be a shorter video, especially with some of the footage missing.
We had a bit of an issue with the camera and the clean that I did, so we're just trying to see what footage we can get together.
Yeah.
And make as good a video for you as possible.
And we haven't done a clean this week. So this video, this was from last weekend. I did this house, it was a good job that I did that extra one, because life just got in the way this week. So we never managed to get one done. So we're hoping to try and fit in some extra cleans so we have some backup footage. But I was thinking if it comes to a point where we haven't managed to do a clean that week, or we've run out of footage, I was thinking we could we'll maybe just do a live, or we'll do a compilation of before and after photos, or there will always be something every week. Just, it might not be a full clean, but I mean, that we're hoping not. So yeah, we're going to try and fit in as many as we can. I always get so excited when I find books in somebody's house. So like, I found books and I'm like, oh yeah, they read. I just get really excited.
I like the salt rock lamp. Is it a salt rock lamp?
Yeah, but how do you actually clean them? Because I like gave it a wipe over with a cloth, but
it's made of salt.
Yeah, so it just stuck to it. So I didn't know it was actually made of salt, though, to be fair. So yeah, so I didn't know how to clean it. Plus, it was on the entire time I was there. I didn't know if that was good or not.
I used to have a salt rock lamp, but my rabbit chewed through the cable. And then I used to just leave it as an ornament. Is it ornament?
Ornament.
Ornament.
Yeah.
But then the salt almost like crystallized around the bottom, and I'd always be left with like a salty ring, and then eventually it started affecting my windowsills and stuff, so I had to move it. It's in a cupboard stashed away somewhere.
I thought I seen somewhere that salt lamps were really bad if you had cats.
Alright, okay, is it because they lick it?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm making that up. Like, I might be.
They're meant to be really good, like, health benefits.
Yeah.
Really good for you. I off the top of my head, I don't know what they are, but
yeah, I don't know.
Depression's one of them.
I mean, it's maybe just good for your, like, the air you breathe, really.
I'm going to Google it right now.
Also, we're sitting in my car again doing this voiceover because there are 7 children in my house right now and 2 dogs and my husband. We've just abandoned him, actually, the poor guy. But anyway, we're sitting in my car doing this, and my neighbour just rocked up in his car, and he probably thinks we're mad, just sitting chatting.
They're good for air quality. They can improve mood, sleep, help with skin conditions, ease respiratory symptoms, decrease colds, and lessen headaches and migraines. You definitely should get one of these.
I know. I ticked like 5 of those boxes or something.
They may help neutralise airborne ionised particles that cause static electricity, and good for home decor.
So my daughter, she actually had one on her birthday wish list a couple of years ago, and I got one from Amazon, but when it arrived it didn't work, and then I never get around to returning things, so she just never got it because it just sat there, it didn't get returned. I think it's quite easy to return things to Amazon now, but at the time it wasn't. It was complicated, or at least I must have thought it was complicated. I hate returning stuff.
Here's a more generalised, so reduced allergy and asthma symptoms, eases coughing. You should definitely get one of these.
Yeah. And clean the dream catchers above my bed. That probably is what makes it worse.
Well, I mean, if you don't get round to getting one, good Christmas.
Does anybody know? Yeah. Does anybody know how to clean dream catchers? Because I have a dream catcher collection and it's above my bed, and I recently noticed, like, I don't dust very often. I probably should dust more since I have asthma, but I recently noticed they are literally covered in dust. And maybe spiders' webs. I'm really not sure which one it is. I'm just assuming it's dust because the alternative is scary. But there's like 20 of them above my bed. And now I'm like sleeping under these things that move and are covered in dust. So I need to clean them, but I really actually don't know how. I don't think a duster's going to cut it. Like, because they're feathers and beads, and the dust is really like... They literally look like dusticles. I don't know. Can you picture what I'm saying? I don't know how to describe it.
The picture in my mind, though, is probably a lot worse than what it looks
like.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm picturing just grey.
You wouldn't be wrong. I'm going to show, like, after this video, I'm going to show you, and then you can confirm in the next video how accurate I was. Anyway, so in this one, I've moved on to the boys' room, and there was like, do you know the stuffing out of teddies?
Yes.
That was all over this floor. It was so satisfying to sweep up. I kind of was sweeping like a square meter at a time in this room. So I was cleaning and sweeping a square meter at a time. And then I just kind of gave the surfaces a wipe down. I didn't really do much actual cleaning. But the difference in this room as well at the end is so good. Because, so they have the Kalax cubes. I don't think you can see because of the door, but I really like the way this room's set up. So it's got the high-rise bunk beds, and then see it's got the Kalex cubes at the side.
Yeah.
But when I came into this room, there's like all along the wall on the right is clothes. There's like a little unit with clothes all over it. There's a couple of the Kalex cube boxes filled with clothes. So by the time I'd put those boxes away and cleared off the unit, it basically cleared the whole entry to the window, which was good.
Where did the fluff come from? Did you know?
Well, they had a lot of teddies on their beds. And I didn't touch the beds because they're really high up, which sounds silly, but I'm quite scared of heights. So
are you that scared of heights?
Oh yeah, like, so I had an ex-boyfriend who would literally pick me up a foot off the ground, and I'd be terrified. I think I got dropped as a child or something. I don't know. I find
post-traumatic stress.
I find that the older I get, those phobias that I've got
are heightened.
Yeah, they've definitely increased, because I used to just not like spiders and would like move away from them, and now I'm actually terrified of them. And then heights, like, it's at a point now, right? So I used to ride my bicycle everywhere when I was a kid and in my like late teens, and I could ride with like no hands. But I feel like if I was to make a graph of my age plus my ability to balance, or like my ability to be a few feet off the ground, it would like go in opposite directions. I don't know if you can picture that, but yeah, because I tried to get on a bike a few years ago, and oh my god, first of all, I ran over a dog. Like, the dog was fine, but that's not...
How did you manage to run over
so,
a dog?
Okay,
what?
There's this... It was on a bicycle. I didn't hurt the dog. The dog was fine. I think I was more
traumatized than the dog.
But the thing was, right, so I used to work as a carer, and we went, so it was with somebody that I was supporting, and I was shadowing. I was shadowing my boss, by the way, and we went to Lockhaw Meadows, and you know how you can hire the bikes?
Yeah.
And I had not ridden a bike in like 10 years, but I was like, I used to ride my bike no hands. I'm awesome. Yeah. And so she was on the bike, and then the person we were supporting was in like the sidecar part of her bike, which was good.
Lucky.
Yes. Because I am weak, I was not going to be able to pedal with a second person on the bike with me, not pedaling. So then I was riding alongside on a bike, and I was terrible. And then this dog came running out of nowhere right into my wheel. And so, I mean, I got a fright.
Did you fall off?
Yes. I fell off the bike because I was trying to stop very suddenly so I didn't hurt the dog. The dog was totally fine. My boss, luckily, was just laughing at me.
That would have been me. I would have been laughing at you. I would have laughed at you and then made sure the dog was all right, and then maybe I would have made sure you were okay.
I mean, the dog ran back off to its owner, and I was like, but I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is your dog okay? But it wasn't my fault, though. The dog ran at me. Yeah. But yeah, and that was the last time I was on a bike. And yeah, I'm a bit scared to get back
That's another thing about like people with dogs without good recall. Letting their dogs off leads.
I mean, the dog ran straight back to its owner, so it might not have been that it didn't have good recall.
Or it might have been because it just got such a fright, it ran back to where it felt safe.
Or maybe. Don't make me feel worse. This was years ago. This has stayed with me.
It's a core memory.
Yeah, it's a core memory of it's a reminder to not get back on a bicycle. But yeah, so like that fear of heights, like I don't even like, I get vertigo if I like see my stairs, how I have that like landing I can lean over. Yeah, I get vertigo if I look down them. Like, it's so bad. I think
the older you get, your fears always get more heightened. And I don't know if it's like when you're younger you're just carefree, and then when you're older you get a little bit more realistic on life, and you think more about your mortality, and so your fears. But you're only actually born with two fears, which is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Every other fear is kind of programmed into you. A wee bit of useless information for you.
I don't know how accurate that is, by the way.
I'm pretty sure. Look, I'll Google that as well.
No, because I'm sure we've covered this in psychology, and like, it's not just the fear of falling and the fear of noises, because you have like evolutionary reactions to things. So like, people are more naturally afraid of snakes because snakes can be poisonous and can hurt you.
Humans are born with two innate fears. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Most other fears are learned at a young age or influenced by your environment and culture.
Oh, I might look into this more.
These are called natural fears and can include the fear of spiders, snakes, and the dark.
All right, okay. So fear of spiders and snakes and stuff. They're
fears depending on what you're influenced by, environment and culture.
Yeah.
So at a very, very young age, if you live in a place that has venomous snakes, you'll know from your parents' reactions, like, oh, there's a snake, to then become afraid of snakes.
Like one of the most famous studies in psychology is the little Albert study. So basically they made Albert afraid of fluffy things, and so they started with rabbits.
Was this a real person they've done this to?
This was a little child.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because every time this rabbit would come near him, they would make a really loud noise. So you associated this fear of the loud noises
with the natural fear.
Yeah, but it didn't just stop at rabbits, because he then started just associating, I can't remember if it was with white things or fluffy things or white fluffy things, but yeah, it kind of like, what's the word? Adjacent? Like the fear
continued onto things. Yeah.
So they conditioned them to be afraid of rabbits.
Where did they get this check? Like, did his parents?
Well, the conditions for studies are a lot stricter now than
they were back then.
Yeah. But,
that's a shame.
But that's one of the most famous studies that you learn early on in psychology.
I wonder how easy it is to like reprogram yourself to not be afraid of something.
So I'm pretty sure you can use cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah. So that kind of
can do that.
Like But there's other things like
hypnotism. Do you think that would work?
No, I don't know. I've never really looked into hypnotism, but it's not something we've really covered in psychology, so I don't know if it's like pseudoscience. Anyway, we've only got actually a few minutes left of this video.
As always, we've rambled on, talked some about cleaning, and our conversations just flow when we're with each other, and we get sidetracked very easily.
Yeah, but people are fine with it, so we're just going to carry on talking rubbish. That's what you don't mind, and we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't like it, you can mute it.
It really makes it it goes a lot faster, I think, when you're just more natural and relaxed and just letting the conversation flow.
Yeah, and it makes it more enjoyable. Also, see in this room, and I think you've already missed me doing it, but see behind that ladder is a 4-cube Kalex unit. Mm-hmm. It was in front of the window. Obviously, I needed to clear that space. So I moved it to behind here, and I felt, right, it doesn't work behind here. So then I move it to there. And also, can you see how dusty my butt is?
No, I've never seen that.
Every time my butt is to the camera, I'm like, I think it's from the backs of my shoes. Because when I hunch down, I'm like hunching down on my heels. Or it's just from sitting on the floor. But yeah, I need to get some different leggings as well, because I noticed you can see the tag from the leggings at the top whenever I bend down as well.
Where are these from?
I was actually...
These are the ones that you like.
Oh yeah, where are they from? I'm just checking out your tag. Primark.
Oh, there you go.
Wait, because I think these are from Primark. Are they? I don't remember. I was actually... When I was cleaning in the kitchen... And I was leaning over. Obviously, I'm wearing a black top. And I love this top because it's a Daughtry top, which is one of the bands that I like. And I was like, oh my God, this product, I think, has bleach in it. And I remember ruining a favourite pair of combat trousers once because I had bleached my bathroom wearing them. And
that's
so
why
I
always wear that grey all-in-one suit now, because I've already got bleach on it, and I'm like, okay, this is just going to be my once-a-week cleaning outfit.
Oh, here's the before and after photo, so you can really kind of see the difference here.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening to us ramble. And yeah, any comments will help our algorithm, and we just like chatting with you. Like, we might not always reply, but we love reading them.
And if this is your first time watching us, please subscribe, follow along. We hope you enjoyed the content, and we hope you come back for more.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will. See you next week.